It's crazy how I became a millionaire in just 1 year by not buying Starbucks coffees and just making them at home. No guys, obviously that's total bullshit. That's not actually what happened. Let's rewind to July of 2016. I dropped out of university and had a goal of changing people's lives through fitness.
Today, where I was able to make the decision to stop doing petroleum engineering, go and start my own business, work with successful people who are doing it and not be afraid,
But it was in that video that you can see my drive for not only changing my life, but for helping other people change theirs. And for all the haters who say that I got lucky or I got a trust fund, let me reassure you, I couldn't even afford to fix my AC in my beat up car.
My AC went out of my car.
And as real as that gets, what got me to my first $1 million isn't exactly what you think. Starting my day off with visualizations of money, taking cold showers, waiting 90 minutes to take my first sip of coffee, or even deep breath work. Let me tell you, I was not Andrew Huberman's son. You see, people nowadays are lied to about how to actually make money. People make up such huge obstacles in their mind that they think you need a very special magic wand, and then with that special magic wand, you'll start doing special magic spells. Before you can cast them, you gotta do an ice bath for 20 minutes to sensation in your fingers. It's because we set good habits. We live well below our means, and then we invest the difference and follow these good habits consistently through the highs and the lows, no matter what. Even though I've generated over $100 million in sales, 27-year-old me didn't even know I would be here right now.
I always wanted financial freedom, and now that I have it, I don't know what else is out there for me. I don't know what goal is gonna be bigger, because I need a bigger goal now, because now that the money's there, it's gotta start becoming bigger than that.
Let me share with you my net worth, my overall 2024 passive income, and how in 1 year I became a multi-millionaire. Let's begin. A lot of people make money in real estate, some do it through the stock market, and some do it through Amazon FBA like my friend Dave. In this video, I'm gonna show you all of that, but I'm also gonna show you that you don't need 7 sources of income to become a millionaire. Let's begin with my net worth. Now to make this fun, I'm gonna go ahead and Google it because I'm sure there's gonna be some really fun articles. Honestly, after looking this up, I thought I was more famous than that, but this just goes to show that no one's really thinking about me at all. So just remember that when bad days happen. But clearly at this point, my net worth is more than $1 million. So let me go ahead and break this down into the 3 components that we cover inside this video. EliteCEOs.com has been my main company for the last 6 years. Originally, it actually started off as a fitness company called Fit Warrior. And in my first 12 months alone, I'd actually crossed over $1 million in sales. Because of that, I actually had a line as long as people trying to see Drake at his concert of fitness professionals asking me how I did it and if I could help them. Quickly after that, I changed my company name to Fitness CEOs, where I started servicing fitness professionals from all over the world. That, to this day, was my most explosive year of business, where I went from 1 million to over $10 million in annual revenue. Finally, in my 3rd year of business, I transitioned to full-on business consulting as that line of people got longer and longer, and that's when EliteCEOs.com was born. People ask me this all the time of how much of that 100 million did you actually take home, which is a very valid question, so let's just dive into that. Now, believe it or not, there are business owners in Miami, where I am based, who will take home $1 to $2 million a month and have 0 employees. Now, while in the short term, it makes the bank accounts look good because you're not paying anyone else, in the long term, it actually hurts you because you don't create any leverage and you stay stuck in that business forever. I personally like working on the higher level strategies of the business, so I've always had a pretty big staff, between 70 to 100 people at all times, where we will fall between 20 to 30% profit margins. So for take home, if we want to be conservative, after $100 million in sales, let's say I take home 25%, so that's a cool 25 million. After my personal expenses, which is usually 10% of my income, and then you put me in the highest tax bracket, which is at 37%, so let's just take about 50% of that money away. That will leave me with about $12 million of liquid cash. Now keep in mind, I could have worked way more in my business and stacked away way more cash, but for me, I have a lot bigger goals that I want to achieve. And so the skills and mindset and processes that I learned building a team of that size are far more valuable to me in the long term than the extra couple million that I would have stashed away. If you want to go the solopreneur route and just stack more cash, that's fine. But in the long run, I think it's a bad idea because you don't create any leverage and any ability to learn more skills. Now this leads to my 2nd source of income, EliteClosers.com. Now as Elite CEOs scaled, our clients were consistently asking us for setters or sales reps who could set and close their sales calls. Because of that demand, we decided to build out a complete division dedicated to hiring, training, and placing setters or sales reps inside my clients' companies. Now, while this division doesn't do anywhere near the revenue that EliteCEOs.com does right now, it still does around $200,000 a month or $2.5 million per year. This was a nice little boost in conjunction to my primary source of income and was a great way to leverage my current audience into another horizontal offer. We make money two ways here. First, either setters or sales reps who pay us up front to get training and placed inside companies that need setters or sales reps. Or two, it's gonna be business owners who need trained setters or sales reps that have a 90-day performance guarantee. So if that person doesn't perform, they get a free replacement. My third source of income is my day trading portfolio company. Now, while I don't mention the name of it or the name of my business partner, so I don't add any unnecessary attention or stress, I can break down the specifics for you. I'm a 50% owner in the company where my partner is in charge of the day-to-day operations, and then I'm in charge of the strategy, the funnels, the tech, and any back-end help he might need. Now, what I love most about this offer is the fulfillment is insanely easy. So either someone pays $97 a month where they get access to my business partner's daily trades, or they can pay someone $25,000 where their funds will get access to a proprietary trading algorithm. Now, as the service expands, what's great is we don't really need more coaches or more help to handle the fulfillment. And so I get a nice little check every single month between $15,000 to $40,000 a month, 15 being on the low end, 40,000 being closer to the high end. Better yet, this last month, we scaled from $160,000 a month to over $1.5 million per month. I actually did an entire video on this company and how I did that. I'm gonna take that video and link it in the description comments below if you're interested to see a breakdown of the numbers. Finally, my last income source is Elite360.io. Now, I love this software because this is our internal and white labeled version of Go High Level. Some people will make the argument that they can just go and get the original version of Go High Level, but the difference between Go High Level and what we do with Elite360 is it doesn't have any of the custom funnels, templates, personal support, coaching, all the things that are involved that are specific to our type of clients and avatar. Now, this was a no-brainer as our clients are constantly asking for the best systems and operations to scale their businesses. And although I've done over $100 million in sales using ClickFunnels software and will always be a mega fan of Russell Brunson, my team and I felt that this would be a better option moving forward. And the cool part is that you make 100% commission on any sales you make with your white label versus with ClickFunnels as an affiliate, you only get 40%. This brings in another $100,000 a month at around 80% profit margins. So now that you know that I'm not a fake guru, let's see exactly how I made my first million. What is the quickest way to make money? First, we need to find something to sell that people actually want. Now, in 2015 and 16, my mentor, David Fry, got me into the world of online coaching. And now come to think about it, I was sleeping a lot more than I was working. I don't care what my video editor puts on this video, I wasn't really sleeping. I was working for free like slave labor. The online space is broken down into 3 different categories: health, wealth, and relationships. Since I had no wealth and my girlfriend broke up with me because I dropped out of university, I only went with the last one that was on the table, so I stuck with health. Now, at that time, David Fry showed me the world of low ticket sales in the fitness world. While he meant well, this was probably the worst advice and strategy that I could have had in the beginning of starting a business. I had no experience, no cash, and I had no following. Most people think selling low ticket is much easier than high ticket, but it couldn't be any further from the truth. Think about it this way. If you're trying to get someone to buy something from your website without a phone call, that means you have to know how to build funnels, how to make emails, how to run ads possibly, how to set up tracking, and there's a whole long list of other techniques and skills that you're gonna have to learn. And to be frank, that's just the tip of the iceberg. When I first tried to start selling low ticket products, I would post a link in my IG bio, put it on Facebook, and hope that someone would click that link and buy. But the truth of the matter is that without a really large following, unless you're Kim Kardashian or P. Diddy, hopefully not him, or Donald Trump, it's really hard to sell things. And sure, I would get a few clients here and there and a couple $100s, but the reality of it was that at the end of the month with an extra couple $100s in cash, it wasn't enough to pay more of my bills or really to change my life. I did this for 2 years. I made a grand total of, drumroll please, $2,000. That is enough for a nice bathroom in Miami, maybe a porta potty. Now, the good news is I was gaining financial skill and knowledge, but the bad news was that I still wasn't making any money. Fast forward until I figured out about high ticket coaching, and that's when everything skyrocketed. Turns out, once you find something that people want to buy, you sell it for more than it costs you to make, and then you rinse and repeat that over and over again, and suddenly you'll be rich. It's like magic.
What the F?
But if I'm being honest, in the beginning, high ticket coaching wasn't all roses and daisies to begin with either. After I made a few sales and I scrounged up enough money to move out of my parents' house, I quickly realized that to keep my momentum going and to keep my business scaling, I was gonna have to learn paid ads and fast. To be quite honest with you guys, I thought I'd be sitting back like this, relaxing in my chair, watching the money flow into my bank account, but that's just not exactly how it works. Turns out without proper follow-up processes or automations to continue to nurture your leads, that your webinar might as well be for nothing. I kept trying to change my ads. I would redo my webinar numerous times. I'd hire different business consulting companies, but nothing ever seemed to work. After spending tens of thousands of dollars with little to no results, I was just about prepared to go back to engineering school and finish getting my degree. I know it sounds fucking depressing. As a last ditch attempt out of anger, I single-handedly went through all my leads and manually messaged each and every one of them to try to get them on a 60-minute sales call. The crazy thing is, when I was 22 years old, I told my mentor.
When I was 22, I was sitting in David Fry's office, who Russell knows personally, they're good friends. And I said, hey, I'm gonna be a millionaire by 27.
Hard work pays off, but you have to have the right processes. I continued this lead gen process until I couldn't take on another single client. In high ticket businesses, you'll typically max out around 20 to 30 clients if you're doing one-on-one fulfillment. And so maxing out means you literally cannot scale anymore unless you outsource that fulfillment. So to solve this problem, I hired my brother as my first coach. Once Benson was in, he took on all the fitness clients where he would customize their nutrition, customize their training, and be their one-to-one point of contact for any type of support. That allowed me to turn my full attention back to sales and marketing so that we could scale to over $50,000 a month. At this point, it felt like I was printing money and I was scaling at a really fast pace. After that, I just turned up the heat with more ads, hired on a couple of new setters to take over 100% of my messaging protocol, and then I turned my full focus to only closing deals over the phone. From here, I just kept doing the same boring stuff day after day. And a lot of people will try to convince you that it gets more complex as you scale, but in reality, it's just doing the same stuff over and over and over again. So going from $100,000 a month to the journey of $1 million a month, all I did is I kept doing more of that same stuff. More ads, more setters, more coaches, more sales reps. And the complexity in the business comes from the increase in staff and management and clients, not from doing actual different tasks. And just like that, here I was applying for my 2 Comma Club awards.
So my name is Tanner Chidester, and this is my 2 Comma Club story. So
now the most important thing that I want you to take away from this is that I was living well below my means and putting every extra dollar into my business. In fact, I was still living at my parents' house when I was doing over $60,000 a month. And that's why I don't buy myself anything fancy, at least anymore, after I got a Lamborghini and I lived in Thousand Museum for $25,000 a month. I continue to reinvest that money and continue to follow good habits, which is ironically how this entire video started. So with that, we have come full circle. I'm so proud of my journey thus far, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. And for those wanting to scale exactly like I did, I actually put a link in the description below, which is a 6-part video series with all the scripts, emails, templates, you name it. It's 100% there, completely free, so that you can go and start taking action on this right away. Thanks so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.